Hi, everyone. So we're just going to give it a few more minutes, maybe like a minute or two, for anybody else to sign in, and then we'll start the presentation. Okay, so we're going to go get started. My name is Vicon, and I am the Product Marketing Specialist here at Vicon. Today's presentation is introducing the thermal body temperature solution, and it will be presented by myself and our applications engineer, Huy Lai. If you do have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. That's towards the bottom right. And we'll go over as many questions as we can once we're done with the presentation. So just a little background on Vicon for anybody who is new. Vicon was founded over 50 years ago and is known for providing end-to-end solutions from video management software such as our acclaimed Valerus, analog and network cameras, and VAX access control. So all of these products can stand alone or work together seamlessly to provide you with the ability to customize your security solution the best way you see fit. And today we're really going to focus on understanding how to tailor all of your needs around this camera to your security solution. So we'll just quickly go over the agenda for today, but we're going to review how the thermal body temperature measurement camera can become a beneficial asset to your overall security operation. We're then going to move into some high-level specs so you understand exactly what this camera is offering. And then we're going to discuss the option of using the camera as a standalone software or with our Valerus VMS. And really dive into some of the alerts that you're able to configure when choosing to use a VMS. Then we'll move on to the camera system as a whole, and then we're going to break down what comes with our camera. At the same time, we'll take a bit of a deeper dive into the black body calibration device, so that way you understand why it's important to have it, why it's FDA recommended, and why we've chosen to include it with the overall package. After understanding those concepts, we'll then go over the proper way to install the camera for effective temperature measurements, and then we're going to finish with a demo and follow up with any questions that you guys may have. So as we begin to return to a new normal, new methods of operation are going to be put in place to ensure the safety of employees and customers. COVID-19 has really put a spin on things, which is why we're really, pushing this camera out by demand. You can use this camera wherever you'd like, but a great place that we're seeing people put this into action is access points and entryways. So it can help identify at-risk people before they begin making contact with other people or objects. And this really brings out the value of the camera, and this is when you can truly see it perform. It really provides you with a leg up to proactively monitor on the potential spread of infection and the costs that go along with that. So as businesses in different phases begin to reopen and welcome people back into their establishments, learning how to really just separate anybody who may have an elevated temperature from everybody else is really just going to give you, once again, that leg up. So we're seeing this everywhere really, but in a lot of the retail stores, hospitals, universities, schools, correctional facilities. Once again, anybody that's readjusting to the new norm and welcoming everybody back in. So in this slide, we're going to dive into some of the features and speak to the benefits of said features. So first, we have the highly accurate contactless measurement. We have a plus or minus accuracy of less than 1 degree. So when you're dealing with temperature, a difference of 1 to 3 degrees can make a difference. And having a accuracy of 1 degree Fahrenheit or less is recommended by the FDA. So we are following with that guideline. Next, we have the 30 millisecond response time, and that combats some of the recent issues we've been seeing. So as facilities, establishments begin opening up, they have somebody in the front who is using, like a forehead temperature scanner by hand, and that slows things down and, overall just requires contact. So by having this set up, it, decreases the contact and delivers a fast response time. The FDA guideline is 1 person at a time, so that's best practice, but it can monitor 16 targets simultaneously. We'll dig into this point a bit more as we continue the slideshow. However, the intelligent alarms and automatic snapshots allow you to understand how you're going to engage with this information when you get an alert. So basically the question is, what's your action when an alert comes up? So what are you going to do if someone entering has a potential elevated temperature? And this camera, as mentioned before, can be used with its standalone software or with our video management system, Valerus. So if you have Valerus, this works very well with it, and you can configure events and alarms with it. But if you don't and you're only interested in the camera itself, we will review some of that standalone software. And then finally, the black body, which is a part of the camera system, is not separate or additional, but it provides a constant temperature reference point for the camera. So it allows it to compensate for any environmental changes, which increases the accuracy, and is once again an FDA recommendation of having that black body device with the camera. So there are 2 standard alert features, which are the facial mask and the abnormal temperature detection. For the facial mask, if someone enters without a mask, it will alert you and you'll be able to identify the individual without the mask. And then the abnormal temperature detection also sends alerts when these temperatures don't meet a user-defined threshold. When used with Valerus, it triggers alarms and events, and these can be seen in real time and can be configured to run specific actions like a pop-up camera video, it can send an email, etc. So any events that are triggered are saved into the database, and you'll be able to pull up the recorded video for those events and the corresponding video, so that way you can really do a quick and rapid forensic investigation. So once again, this is not the end-all be-all solution for your business, but it is going to play like an integral part into your overall security operation. Another way of using the camera is by tying it to our back access control or other access control systems. So you can set it up to a door or turnstile access. And with normal temperature read, a person can go through a door or a turnstile, so they have access, they get in, it's cleared. However, if an alarm is triggered, so let's just say an abnormal temperature reading, the door or the turnstile is automatically locked, and that prevents the person from entering the area. So this allows you to once again get that leg up and go in and further investigate the person that triggered the alarm. So I mentioned before that this camera can be used as a standalone software or with Valerus. So I just want to walk you through some of the benefits of each so you can understand the differences and decide which option best meets your needs. So the standalone software is a great value if you don't use Valerus. You get visual responses and snapshots of high body temperature when detected. And if you choose to use it with Valerus or VMS, it does play into a bigger part of your security solution because you can have it all recorded in the same place. You can enable alarms. You can, with Valerus specifically, you can have it play into your historical event search, which is a really powerful tool in which you're able to go back and see all the times that your alarm was triggered. If you do have to do an investigation, you can go in and trace contacts. So overall, as I mentioned, it just, enhances your operation. So for models and accessories, I want to break down what you'll get and some of the options that you can add on when purchasing this camera. So you'll be getting the camera, the black body, and the wall and ceiling mounts. Also included with the above is the standalone software application, Vicon technical support, and a 3-year warranty. So we've covered the standalone software in previous slides, but if you run into trouble or any issues, our support team is on call 24/7 and is ready to help answer or dig into any of the issues you're encountering. If you were interested in the tripod mount, which is not included, you can obviously speak to your sales representative and they can always help you out with that. So the black body is a component that everyone is interested in and with very good reason. It provides highly accurate, stable temperature, and that's via an energy emission source. So this allows it to provide a constant temperature reference point, and that means that it does compensate for any environmental changes. I mentioned this earlier, but the level of accuracy of 0.5 Fahrenheit is obviously important. You're not playing with a few degrees, and you're really getting as close to the accurate temperature as possible. Without a black body, the temperature accuracy can fluctuate between 2 or 3 degrees, so this is why the FDA recommends having that black body calibration source. So, for example, if you're normally 97.5, and if it, without the black body, it fluctuates 3 degrees, that goes to 100.5, and automatically you would be deemed as having a temperature. So that's why the black body is really an essential tool to this camera system and really makes it beneficial. So now I've finished my part. I'm going to pass this over to Huy Lai, our applications engineer, and he's going to take you through the installation and a demo of the camera.
All right, thank you, Aaliyah. So what I'd like to do is, give you a overview of the installation and then let you see a demo of how the system works. What you're seeing here is a typical installation, and what you have is both the camera and the black body, which is here shown on the ceiling mount. Now you can also choose to do this, have both cameras and black body on a wall mount, or even on the tripod for temporary positions. Um, both the camera and the black body should be set about 6.5 to 7.5 feet above the ground, with the black body around 10 to 16 feet from the camera and in the field of view. You want to make sure that also the camera has a clear view of the person walking into the area. Basically, you're setting up a detection zone where you're going to have a person come into the view and the camera be able to detect that. Once you have the camera set up, then with a elevated temperature read, the camera will set off an alarm, and we'll see that in the demo that we're looking at. Again, the key is to set this area to quickly check a person and make sure that they don't have elevated temperature before they go into your premise. Ilya also mentioned, this is an interesting idea and it could be very effective for any businesses, is you can have either a turnstile or an entrance way where you tie in to the camera system. So with an access control system, then if you have a alarm set off by the camera saying, high temperature read, you can either lock that turnstile, not allowing a person getting through. So the key is, you want to set up an area again to, basically check for people who's going to get into your premise and make sure that, again, the conditions are safe before they enter your premise. So let me go ahead and show you the demo of the software itself here. So what we're showing here is the software, and you can see that there's both the thermal image on the right side as well as the live image on the left. So when a person's coming into the view, you can see that the camera detects the person, both images, and you'll see their face highlighted with the temperature reading and bounding box on their face. Keep in mind the camera is locking into the face and specifically in the forehead to get its temperature read. And that's why you'll see, again, a bounding box appear around the face when the face is detected with the temperature shown. The green box indicates normal temperature, and then any, again, camera detect or face detection with normal temperature, you'll see here on the right side. This is like the safety list. You can notice on the right side here on the background in the thermal image, that's the black body in the back there that you see with the bounding box. And again, the black body is important as the reference point for the camera to make sure that the camera is calibrated correctly and is adjusting to ambient temperature. You also have alert when someone is not wearing a mask, and again, you'll see that show as a no mask icon on the right. Well, we have also here, we did a simulation of high temperature, basically with a person putting a coffee cup on their head. And when the high temperature is detected, it'll go down on the bottom left here as the alarm detection, and it'll show you the snapshot with the temperature. In this case here, it shows at 157.5. Here we're showing the camera working with our Valerus VMS software. And as you see, again, you see the same kind of bounding box and detection. The temperature is red. You can see temperature elevated, and you can see, again, the bounding box indicating, in this case, red is a high elevated temperature. At the top also, when we get high elevated temperature, it also triggers an alarm, and you can see the alarm icon trigger here. And in the Valerus video management software with that alarm trigger, you can do all sorts of things. You can pop up a camera, you can send an email, you can create different rules to do different things. Also, these are all events that are recorded in the Valerus. So remember that the video is recorded and the events are recorded. So you can go back and search on these alarm events and review the video from those times. So you can see, the Valerus, working with the VMS is going to, add value to the camera system. What we also show here is we have one person coming in at a time, and that's the FDA recommended, is to have one person come in. But as Ilya mentioned, the camera is able to detect multiple people and multiple temperatures at a time. So here we're showing basically two people that are standing at the camera, and you can see that, again, both people, their faces and temperature are detected at the same time. Again, let me just show you this video one more time. And again, we work in both the standalone software. Okay. And again, the standalone software comes with the camera itself, and you can set up alerts, and you can see all these. And then again, uh, without the or in conjunction with the standalone software, again, you can also combine it with the Valerus VMS to be able to again record the events and be able to quickly search the events later, and basically incorporate this as part of your overall security system. Okay, and that concludes the um, demo portion. And if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and send your questions now, and we'll have some time to answer a few questions. So one thing is a question about the black body. The importance is, yes, the black body is an essential component. Again, it is the reference point and temperature gauge for the camera. So you do want to have black body in there. There are systems out there that don't have a black body or as sells the black body as an option. And the simple fact is, you probably won't get um, as a accurate read as with the black body itself. Um, Again, the system can be set up in the area, any area. Um, Preferably, you want to have an area that you can control movement going into your facility. Let me see what else here. The camera can be, somebody asked about the camera being used with Viconet. Yes, it can be used with Viconet. Now, there is some limitations. We can get the camera with the um, video overlay showing the temperature, but at this point, the alert features is not going to work in Viconet. It's going to be exclusive to Valerus right now. Outdoor installation. So somebody asked about outdoor installation. Yes, you can have an outdoor installation. However, if you have an outdoor installation, a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, you're susceptible to the ambient temperature outside, namely, the sun. If you're in either a hot summer day, the sun could be shining and that could be affecting the temperature read. If you're in cold weather, again, that could affect the temperature read. So if you're going to do it outside, what we do recommend is having set up something like a tent, where you have a tent area that could at least cover the camera and black body from the sun itself. Um, but you do want to try to have as much of a controlled temperature as possible. So yes, you can use it outdoor, but you do want to keep in mind you want to set something up to control the temperature range. I think the best solution is to again set it near an entrance or in the entrance point wherever you're coming into. Another question is alarm trigger in Valerus, can that send to VAX to lock a door? So right now, from Valerus, there's not an alarm sending to VAX, but the camera itself has dry contacts. So if the dry contact is connected to a VAX door controller or an IO controller, then you can have that set up an alarm in vacs as well, and you can create an action like lock down a door or revoke a credential, whatever you want to do in vacs. Again, with the camera's output relay itself, you can tie it into the vacs controller and trigger that. There's a good question here about cooling off period when people come in from the outside. So yeah, you know it is normal. You're going to have somebody coming in from outside, and it could be like a hot weather day. And what we've seen is basically, you know, a person adjusting to the environmental temperature, and that happens pretty quick. Typically, we see it, you know, happening within 1 or 2 minutes. So if you have a condition like that, where let's say you have a hot day and somebody's coming into the building and they're going to go through the camera system, you do you know want to have the person you know acclimate to the temperature within 1 to 2 minutes. The other also important thing as well is you want to have the person come into clear view of the camera. Again, the camera is looking at the forehead itself, so you want to make sure that forehead is clear. You know, one recommendation we make is make sure that the person doesn't have anything on their head like a hat. So you can have a sign, you know, telling people that they should take off their hat when they're coming into view for a check.
Okay, awesome. I think that's all the time that we have for questions. I was reading some of the questions, and some of that information we can't disclose on the webinar, but I will be passing your inquiries on to our investor relations team. So please stay tuned for that. And a recording of this webinar along with a completed Q&A will be sent to you within a day or two. So you can always look out for that and replay this webinar. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We will be answering all of the questions that we didn't get to today. So everybody have a great day, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.